For decades, there's been relative tranquility on the streets of Cairo, and from the sky, all looked calm. The first protests against the Mubarak dictatorship broke out on the 25th of January. Since then, the situation has been changing every day. Little did we know that that day we would be landing in the battle for Cairo. Anti-Mubarak supporters had barricaded themselves in Tahrir Square, or Liberation Square in English. Pro-Mubarak thugs tried to push them back. One man spots our camera.
The bridge, the people noticed you and directed at you. The stone just came in this direction because they noticed your camera.
Makeshift hospitals were set up within the square.
So this is a hospital in the field, just beside the Egyptian Museum. We are dealing with the injuries, fractures, sprains, injuries in the chest, in the face.
Mubarak supporters begun the violence. Evidence abound that the government was behind it.
Now we prove for all of the world that the government is a cheater, and now we catch one. It's from the government.
For 2 days the battle raged. So far over 300 people have been killed across Egypt and thousands have been injured.
On 3 streets and from this one, and that was the biggest battle, the biggest and the longest, the bloodiest battle was over here, the museum battle, and we will always remember. We were very organized. We weren't organized, but we managed to win this battle.
This wasn't the first battle the protesters have won. The police withdrew from all major cities after opening clashes. Overwhelmed by the protesters' numbers. Police stations and cars were burnt. Even the ruling NDP party's headquarters went up in smoke. With no police, Cairo resembled a war zone. A curfew was put in place, and the army set up checkpoints around the city. Citizens set up their own security, armed with knives, clubs, whatever they could get their hands on, to protect their neighborhoods and to root out thugs. For many, these were dark days in Egypt. Footage continues to come through of some of the horrors that took place. In Alexandria, a man stands alone in front of the police. Despite the curfew, we were invited to see Omar Barazi and his family near the centre of Cairo.
Thanks very much for inviting us into your house.
It's our pleasure.
What's this, Mom? Mommy, what is this?
What? This? These are bullets.
That's fine.
Daddy just found them at the street.
When you kill your own people, unarmed, just for asking for better conditions, for more democracy, it's scary.
Omar was in the front line of the violence. Having recently lost his job, he goes to Tahrir Square every day to join the protests, with the full support of his family. I asked him why this uprising had been embraced by so many.
A lot of the people that are around me are unemployed, with college degrees, university degrees. Around the street you find the guys just hanging out, doing nothing. Even people who have jobs are underpaid. Almost everybody, including myself, don't save a penny. By the end of the month you're always borrowing money or trying to somehow make ends meet until the beginning of the month again.
This is a country, I am 71 years old, there is no place for elderly people and there is no place for sick people.
Why not?
And that's enough because there is no insurance, nothing. Nothing. There's no even a place that I can cross. There's no traffic light working. There's no, the pavement is higher than this table. I'm not there.
Corruption, police brutality, lack of education, the list of grievances from the Egyptian people goes on. It seems it's their whole society they want to reclaim. We're now off to Suez. Now, of course, the Suez Canal is of incredible strategic importance because of the oil tankers passing through it. Now, the city itself was one of the hardest hit, with protesters breaking into a police station, stealing weapons and burning it to the ground. Egypt is the most populous country in North Africa and the Middle East, an integral American and Israeli ally. What happens in Egypt is not just of interest to the Egyptian people. American officials have been advising the Mubarak regime since the crisis started, and the new vice president, Omar Suleiman, is known to have close links with the Americans and even the Israelis. Getting into Suez proved more difficult than we had hoped. We came to a checkpoint on the outskirts of the city. They noticed our camera and we were taken to a military headquarters. After an hour and a half, we were told we could enter Suez under strict orders not to film. Upon entering the city, we could see why. You can see the burnt out police cars right here, and there's a lot of them. There's over the other side of the road as well. There's 4 or 5 burnt out trucks. We've seen burnt out buildings as well. The place is literally crawling with army and police officers as well. There's supposed to be a demonstration later today. There's a very odd sense that the troubles aren't finished here. Suez felt different than Cairo, more dangerous somehow. We knew that state media had been spinning a story that foreign journalists were acting as spies. Reports that an Israeli was found in Tahrir Square also helped to spread fear of foreigners amongst some people. As we were filming these images, local people noticed us and started shouting. They fetched the army, and to detention we went. We're now leaving Suez after being detained by the army for over 5 hours. They've watched all our camera tapes, the ones we haven't hid, of course. They've also made me read out my notebook and search through our mobile phones. The Prime Minister said today that it would be easier for journalists to work. I don't think anybody's told the soldiers in Suez that. Many say the army holds the balance of power in Egypt. So far they have claimed neutrality. However, a few days later, reports were reaching us that the army had been detaining and torturing protesters. Worryingly, out of $3 billion in aid given to Egypt by the US a year, more than 1.3 billion of it goes directly to the military. Another 1.9 million went for training meant to bolster long-term US-Egyptian military cooperation. Every day, the country wakes up to an unknown future. The army and police are given different orders and the government announce new policies. The threat of violence increases or recedes. It's very difficult to meet contacts at the moment in Egypt, and especially to film interviews. Most people are very scared to be seen on camera, and especially to even be seen talking to us as foreign journalists. One person who was keen to talk to us was Dr. Iman, a lecturer at Cairo University. We met her in a private members club 100 meters from Tahrir Square. A helicopter circled above. I asked her how foreign interference in Egypt was being received in the country.
The West has proved great failure in handling the issue of Iraq. So sorry, thank you very much, West. You have destroyed the country, and we don't want you to destroy our country. I mean, I keep telling my friends, we have to prove that we are capable of handling this issue inside Egypt.
How scared are America and Israel specifically about what happens next in Egypt?
Trembling. I think they are trembling. They should be trembling, especially after they have seen how people. Yeah.
Trembling about what? What's the worst case scenario?
Well, I don't know, but actually I think that first, one thing is that they make themselves panic. America, for example, America loves to make itself panic without cause. Israel, I can understand very well. I mean, I am, of course, you can imagine I am against Israel, but I can put myself in their shoes.
Does it have something to fear from an Egypt of the future?
I think Israel has something to fear from Egypt if someone who is not wise enough here and there rules both countries.
After our interview, Dr. Iman joined a group of lecturers who were meeting to decide what action they should take. Opinion was divided on whether they should join the protesters or help mediate between the government and those in Tahrir Square.
Well, that seems to be the problem. Most people seem to support the revolution as it is at the moment, support the people in Tahrir Square and what they're doing, but most people can't seem to agree on what should happen next.
As each day passes, the government is losing patience with the protesters, as Egyptian life cannot return to normal, causing particular damage to Egypt's largest earning industry. The only tourist we did meet was one Japanese woman trying to argue her way into the pyramids.
Video, excuse me. Camera, photography, okay. Video, no. Okay, quickly.
Okay, so we've tried to get into the pyramids.
No.
It's closed. They're not even allowed us to film.
Excuse me. Camera, photography, okay. Camera, videos. Video, small, like in. This is television.
This is small. This is tourist.
No.
This is modern tourist camera.
No.
There's practically no tourists in Egypt at the moment. They left as soon as the trouble started. Obviously, the damage to the economy is massive.
To see if we could find out when the protests would end, we went to the new power base in Egyptian politics, Tahrir Square.
We are bringing food to our brothers. They are not having pizza and Kentucky, as they say. You can check it out and you can see it in the back.
Army checkpoints now surround the square, keeping pro and anti-Mubarak groups apart. Security is tight, and there's only one way in and one way out.
Good. Okay.
But once in, there's a carnival atmosphere.
Regardless our religion, both of us are hand to hand. And I want to conduct a message to my people. I'm 55 years old. These young people could not withstand what we have tolerated. I'm Egyptian. I'm proud of my brothers. I'm proud of those young people. He's a Christian. I'm a Muslim. We don't care. This is Egypt.
And what do you think of these people? The pro-Mubarak supporters?
Our brothers. They are brothers.
Even if they do that to you?
Yes. Their hearts is very good. Needs some cleaning to be very, very good.
There's an incredible atmosphere. Just up ahead of us here, there's actually a wedding taking place.
After 30 years of dictatorship, the anger and jubilation had exploded all at once.
The president to go! The president to go!
People are dying from, they can't find food, they can't work. Lots of people our age can't find any work.
It seems to be everything.
Yeah, it is everything.
You want everything?
But yeah, but there are some like very important stuff that needs to be solved right now. Like poverty, like education, things like that need to be changed.
People have been here for over 10 days now, and the energy and the excitement and the determination still hasn't left them. They're determined to stay for as long as it takes, they say.
One criticism of the movement is that they have no strong leadership. After 30 years of brutal dictatorship, opposition groups have found it almost impossible to flourish. Except, of course, for one group.
It's
clear that the Muslim Brotherhood do have a strong following here. This is some of them here and one of their leaders. Just how important are you in this square?
We are just a fraction, part of the people.
Why do you think the Egyptian elites, and indeed America, perhaps even Israel, are scared of the Muslim Brotherhood?
Okay. The regime of the Mubarak regime has long used the Muslim Brotherhood to fear the others, the foreigners.
To placate fears from abroad and fears from many inside Egypt of the Brotherhood taking power, they have promised not to put a candidate forward in the next elections.
Muslim Brotherhood, it could be like 10% from 90% of Muslims in Egypt. And
are you Muslim Brotherhood?
Yeah, no, I'm not Muslim, but I'm Muslim.
Yeah.
And Muslim Brotherhood, they try to do something through the way they sing. And this way is not against any other religion or against any other civilization.
A leading Islamic scholar takes to the stage.
فأنا أتوقع إن شاء الله إن مع مرور الوقت والضغط المصريين كلهم هيضغطوا على النظام عشان ياخد الشعب فعلا عايزه يقوده سواء كان من الإخوان أو من غير الإخوان.
Despite widespread support for the Brotherhood, they are in the minority in Tahrir Square. Many opposition groups are to be seen all united with one aim.
Who will be the next president of Egypt?
احنا ما فيش توقعات. احنا اي مصري مننا شريف بيدينا الحريه احنا هنمشي وراه كلنا ال 80 مليون هيمشوا وراه. احنا عاوزين مصري شريف سواء كان اقتصادي او اجتماعي او ثقافي او ايا كان العمل بتاعه ايا كان مهنته.
And that's not the only thing people agree on.
USA don't involve. USA administration, we will get democracy with our own will. It's a pretty clear message, and it's a message shared by almost everybody here. They don't want foreign interference, no matter where it comes from. They want to make their own decisions about the future of their own country.
The fact that no one group or no one ideology has hijacked the movement is also a strength. It ensures that it has the support of all those against the government, no matter what their other political views. A few days later I heard that the lecturers who were deciding what action they should take had decided to join the protesters. Numbers continue to grow. Nearby, journalists, both Egyptian and foreign, were gathering at the Journalists' Union.
Behind me there's a press conference with the wife and daughter of Ahmed Mohamed Mahmoud, who is an Egyptian journalist who was recently shot dead by a sniper, we don't know who, in the recent troubles.
The event was also held as a memorial to a fallen colleague for the journalist community. Ahmed's wife is pregnant.
Can I ask, why do you think your husband was killed?
اتقتل جوزي عشان كان بيصور اشياء هم ما كانوش عايزين حد يعرفها. قتل برصاص حي لمتظاهرين عزل معهمش اي سلاح.
As tensions were running high, the atmosphere suddenly changed.
The journalists have spontaneously given a shout of out to the head of the Journalists' Union. They think he's some kind of Mubarak stooge, I think. And they're also chanting anti-Mubarak slogans. So much for journalistic neutrality, hey? And it looks like now the head of the Journalists' Union is retreating up the lift for safety.
After the head of the union was dealt with, the journalists turned protesters officially joined the revolution.
They're chanting journalists' revolution, and you can see the coffin here, symbolic coffin of Ahmed Mohamed Mahmoud. We're now going to walk to Tahrir Square.
With all the excitement, the protesters turned right out of their union, before realizing that they were going the wrong way. With a quick turnabout, the march to the square continued.
Just
just a matter of weeks ago, these scenes would be impossible on the streets of Cairo. People, this time journalists, coming to the streets and peacefully protesting. However this revolution ends, it has already achieved so much. Now the Egyptian people have tasted the right to protest, it is difficult to see them giving it up. Fear of the state has evaporated.
And so for little Karma here, are you optimistic about her future?
Very much so.
Were you optimistic 6 months ago?
Not at all. Not even a month ago.
Really? It's changed like that?
Yes. I mean, all I hoped for 6 months ago was to have maybe international monitoring of our elections, of our upcoming presidential elections. Now, the stakes are much more.
For Karma?
For Karma, oh man, and free society, you know.
That's what the revolution's about?
A part of it. Decency, dignity, you know. We want to be human beings.
We deserve to be human beings.
Absolutely, we deserve to. And this is just the beginning. And I tell most of my friends, do not rejoice too quickly. It do not. The system is there. It's still there. It's dormant, laying low for now. If it's not pulled from the root, it's going to be back more vicious than ever, with a vengeance.
Whether or not the dreams of the Bouazi family are achieved hangs in the balance. After 18 days of protest, Mubarak has finally stepped down, but there are others like him, waiting in the wings. And what of foreign governments? Can they bring themselves to stop meddling? With all that's at stake, that seems doubtful. The Egyptian revolt started on the 25th of January, but if this is truly to become a revolution, then this isn't the end, but only the beginning.